Alrighty team, we are ready to manufacture our very first robots that do the hokey pokey dance. Let's do some poka-yoke to prevent some defects. Poka-yoke. P-O-K-A-Y-O-K-E. Poka-yoke. When you see this Japanese origin word written out in English, it looks kind of like poka-yoke. But don't say poka-yoke because that's really off. Pronounce it more like the Japanese, sort of like poka-yoke, or poka-yoke if you want to say more Japanese sounding, but that's just weird in English. So we're going to say poka-yoke. It is not to be confused with that delicious Hawaiian raw fish that's marinated in soy sauce and other stuff. It has nothing to do with that, and it doesn't have egg yolks on it. It's poka-yoke, meaning literally mistake-proofing in Japanese, and that's what it means in English. It's mistake-proofing. But we apply that term to manufacturing in engineering. So manufacturers originally used the concept of poka-yoke or mistake-proofing to try and prevent workers from making avoidable mistakes when building something. And you can Google different examples, but I'll use an example that I saw a little bit in my own experience. We used to have these huge machines that we used in our medical devices manufacturing plant where I used to work. And it was easy sometimes to keep on using that machine, like you're making like this long rod, for example, a long tool that ends up becoming a drill or something that drills in the bone. Well, you could keep on using this machine to make this long rod over and over and over, and eventually the machine would wear out, right? I mean, you use any tool, the tool gets old and you gotta service it. But if you keep on using this machine hour after hour, day in, day out, you might forget to check if the machine is still okay. And let's say the machine gets busted and you don't notice. Well, you keep on making those rods and eventually that rod becomes bent or something. You start making these rods that are not manufactured how they should be. And that's not good because surgeons should not be drilling into people with rods that are bent out of shape. So all of that could have been avoided if the manufacturing worker just checked on the machine like they were supposed to. Poka-yoke is the idea of, during this manufacturing process, having a simpler way of remembering to check that manufacturing machine, or having a simpler way to just streamline that whole manufacturing process so that mistakes from the workers are avoided completely. In my case, they installed a little device that monitored the machine, and when the machine started vibrating too much and becoming too loud, that was a signal that the workers should check on it. And the workers had like an audible beep, like beep, go check on it, or a warning, some direct warning. Hey, go check on this. Don't forget to check on the machine and don't make bent rods. Poka-yoke could be just the idea of training your workers better. It could be the idea of making the parts that you have to assemble easier to put together so you don't forget how to do it or you don't forget a part. Maybe you have fewer parts to put together. That would reduce the steps in construction. So it's a very great manufacturing principle that prevents defects that end up going into your product. I argue that it's also a design principle, like a design for manufacturing principle, because your designers could make the product easier to build, and that would also increase your manufacturability and avoid mistakes made when constructing your products. So poka-yoke is a Japanese origin term that refers to mistake proofing in creating your products. That's our engineering word of the day. Hi there, it's Pius Wong, host of the Engineering Word of the Day podcast and also host of the K-12 Engineering Education podcast. Go on over and listen to that longer podcast at k12engineering.net. If you go to k12engineering.net, you'll find out a lot more about how to bring engineering to young people, kids of all ages. Thanks.